Hello everyone and welcome to the official SWGT YouTube channel. My name is Sarusa. It's been a busy week with lots of feedback coming from the community on Discord. So today let's talk about SWGT update 4.24.27, which adds support for Twin Angels, adds customization on the Rune Details, the Grind Optimizer and Gem Optimizer, and some big changes to the Team Builder and more. The first update today is for adding support for Twin Angels. So Comptos recently added 5 new units that have actually 6 skills. Technically, it's a weird implementation. Technically, monsters only have 4 skills, so they handle this as what's called an other skill. So it's not even handled like a druid or a pony or any of those units where they actually transform. These are actually handled, it's all actually one unit, but they have 2 skills, but then the second set of skills has a negative slot number, so I don't know, it's really weird. Quatso and I are still looking into the implementation of how Comptos did it. I think it's kind of sloppy the way that they implemented it. And there's still a lot of changes on my side that have to get done for the Artifact Monster Finder. Artifact Monster Finder does not work for Twin Angels. It'll only pick up the first set of skills. It will not pick up the second set of skills. Again, because of the way that they implemented it. So platform-wide, it is supported. The units will show up. The skills and all the skill ups and everything will work. It'll work in all the team builder features. It'll work in all the map building features and everything else. It's just the Artifact Monster Finder is the only thing left that is not working. So I did go through and add an update here just so that everybody knows, so that they don't have to ask me why aren't the Twin Angels working properly. Actually, technically, if you think about it, the artifact lines for one artifact applies to both units. So, one is support type, one is a more attack type. So, like for instance, if you have accuracy on skill 2, for the Twin Angels for I think the fire one. Yeah, it removes harmful effects and then shoots the enemy and increases cooldown time. Some of these artifacts are really overpowered for these units because they're really providing a lot of benefit. So even when I make changes to the Artifact Monster Finder, it's going to definitely skew some artifacts for the Twin Angels only because of the way that the skills work. So it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. I'll be interesting to see if Comptos makes more changes on balances. But anyways, at this point, the platform now supports it. We do have the skills, all the images and the icons, and all the attack multipliers and everything else. The next update line takes us over to SWGT on the guild side. So before the data blackout, SWGT would purge player JSONs if a player was not active or if they were no longer in the guild. And this is just from a data retention and from an overall data privacy standpoint of the player's account. There's no need to be storing their data if they're no longer in the guild or if they're not being active. And so when the data blackout happened, I disabled the feature because obviously everybody was not being able to get data because nobody could pull any data from the game. And so that feature was disabled. So as of this update, SWGT has updated it to be enabled again. But I did make a change where if a player is in the guild, then we are not going to purge their data. So if a player is just in the guild, but they don't participate in any guild content, they can still keep their player JSON. That's perfectly fine. But then if they ever leave the guild, then obviously then their account would then become basically purgeable at that point. So it's re-enabling the feature in order to keep the servers fast and zippy, and for the overall player privacy, of course, but it's also a better version of the last rendition. All right, now switching over to the SWGT personal side, if we go to Rune Details, we select a set of runes. I went through and added customizable columns on this page based on feedback from Discord. People were asking, hey, it's nice, but I don't care about all the columns. If you can just allow me to customize them, that'd be fantastic. So that is done. Of course, we still allow you to show the overall number of entries. The Grind Optimizer, I did go through and add in the number of entries over here. We already had customizable columns. And the Gem Optimizer, if we pick a gem, we now have the overall number of entries, and again, the columns are customizable as they were before. So just user interface tweaks, nothing huge, just a nicer way there. On the Rune Details, I did actually add a gem status now too. So if you want to look at all the runes that are not gemmed, that's now a filter for you to actually go through and do as well. The next update line takes us over to artifacts. So I actually did add Intangible Artifact support. We finally found the icon, so big thanks over to Quatso. And then I did go through and move I can see if I can find one here. I did actually move this graph icon from the right-hand side over to the left-hand side because this actually pertains to this unit. So if I click on this artifact, you can actually see the match results there. So it just made more intuitive sense to have it on the left-hand side versus over here, which is just, this is the artifact in general on which unit it would actually match up with. All right, scrolling back to the top, let's take a look at the gem optimizer. So there was a bug, it was reported by a Discord user, where if something was already gemmed, the gem suggestions were not suggesting to gem over itself. So, for example, HP is already on this one. If I wanted to gem over it with something else, it wouldn't recommend HP again. Now, obviously, this is already a 13, so it's a legendary. But if we were to take one that's not a legendary, for instance, this one right here. So this one's already gemmed for HP. If I go into the legendary bucket, it wouldn't recommend a 13 gem on it in the previous version. So that one's fixed. I also went through and added in rare gems and grinds just for those of us that are always starved on gems and grinds. Sometimes you want to put a rare on a rune just as a placeholder for something, just so that the rune is actually usable. So that was a bug, again, reported by somebody in the community. So a big thank you for, of course, reporting it, and we got it fixed. All right, then last and certainly but not least, the last update line takes us over to Team Builder. And in Team Builder, I've done a bunch of updates. So we had some great feedback on Discord. They said, hey, your current version of Team Builder is good, and it lets you save up to 5 monsters and some notes. But, what if I change the runes? Then I've sort of lost where I was at. So that's some great feedback. Took it and made some changes. Now, when you add in a unit, let's say Jean, Leo, I'm going to pick my second one, and Helena. It'll now show you all the runes, of course. You can now, on the new version, of course, I added some tabs, and you can now see the actual runes and the artifacts that are actually on it individually, as well as you can see the skills that are on each one of the unit and what the actual skills are too, of course. So those are some nice features there. And then the system will now actually save the runes as they are right now as soon as I press the save button. So as soon as I press the save button here, if I were to go and take, let's say, this rune right here and regem accuracy to, let's say, crit damage, the system would then, of course, show you that these are the stats at the time that the team was saved, and then here are the stats now. So let me press add. And so I've actually prepared a sample there so I can show you what the actual difference is here. So on my top team here, you'll notice that I went through and saved this. It was actually 2 days ago as of this recording. And you'll see that, everything's looking okay. But when we start looking at the rune side, oh, well, I'm missing some runes. So when I saved the team, I was missing runes. But hey, good news is, again, because this is a demo purposes, I actually have the runes here of what are actively on the unit. So it just allows you to basically store and archive those teams, as you're going through and speed tuning and building for certain dungeons or PvP, whatever your workflow is. It allows you to save those runes, so that way you can compare what was it at the save versus what is it actually now. So if you want to put the runes back, or if you're trying to find how it was built at one point, you can go through and save and make changes. And that's it for today. I just wanted to say a thank you to all the Patreon members who subscribe to SWGT, and to all the people that constantly give feedback about the platform. It's only through your support and efforts that SWGT is what it is today. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We all make SWGT better together. And with that, don't forget to smash those like buttons, and I'll see all of you on the battlefield.